What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl, Brandy Iberia. Listen, come on in this room. And as you come in, I need y'all to I need y'all to share. We need to feel your love. We need to feel your energy as I talk to three amazing women, three amazing visionaries. As I was trying to figure out what am I calling this pop-up interview today, I said, okay, I'm talking to visionaries. Let's call it a conversation with a visionary, or I think I might have said conversation with visionaries. You guys get the drift. And so again, I see a couple people starting to join already. So again, you guys, as you come on in, make sure you tag some folks, share this video, send us some hearts and love so that we know that you are there and that you are feeling us. So again, if this is your first time joining, again, I am Brandy Iberia. I'm the founder and creator of Saved in the City Christian Network. And every now and again, we'll do some amazing pop-up interviews with folks doing life-changing, transformational work. And so it's that time of year again. It's that time of year for what, y'all? You should know by now. We're creeping up on women in worship. And so I was thinking about this as I was preparing for this interview. I said, you know what? I think at least for the last between 3 and 5 years, I've had an amazing opportunity to chat with Pastor Melva about what the vision is for this year. And so this year, like no other year, God is he's still on the throne. He's still dropping nuggets. He's still trusting us, as undone and filthy as we are, trusting us with the visions to carry to the nations. And for that, we're grateful. And for that, I am grateful. So without further ado, I wanted to get a few folk on the line. Without further ado, I want to introduce Pastor Melva. If you're in the city of Milwaukee, at minimum, because she is global, you should know about or have heard about Women in Worship or heard of Pastor Melva or Melva Henderson Ministries. But formally, I would love just to share with you a little bit more about Pastor Melva. She is about impacting and changing lives on a local, national, and global level. She is a 2015 John Maxwell Top 100 National Leadership Award nominee. Pastor Melva is also the president and founder of World Bible Training Institute, of which I am a proud alumni, and World Ministerial Alumni Association. Additionally, she is the vice president and co-pastor of World Outreach Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, now Oak Creek, alongside her husband, senior pastor, Irvin Skip Henderson. Melva travels internationally, teaching and training individuals called to serve within a leadership capacity. In 2007, she established the Little Feet of Mexico and the Milwaukee Give, both humanitarian efforts aimed at providing food and clothing for those in poverty. Y'all, I could go on and on. That is just a little teeny bit about this amazing woman of God. So I'm gonna hush and I'm gonna bring up Pastor Melva. Come on in. Hi, Pastor.
Hey, Brandy. How are you?
Well, I'm excited. Even though it's rainy in Milwaukee, I feel like I'm on fire in the best kind of way because it's almost time for Women in Worship.
Yes, it is. I'm excited.
And I get to talk to Pastor Melva. So how are you feeling? Where's your head, your heart, as we're moving toward June 3rd and 4th?
Brandy, it's always interesting how I have to grab myself and pull myself in, when we get to the time where it's Women in Worship, because my heart is so desiring to see the lives of women impacted. And, when you have a heart to see lives changed for the kingdom of God, you don't take these things lightly. And so whenever I start thinking, we start praying about Women in Worship a year in advance. We don't wait until we get up on it to start doing what we do. We start talking to God. Like, we're already praying about 2023. And so that's where we are. But I'm focused, and I'm just believing and trusting God that this year is going to be a year like no other. And I know that we say that every year, that this is going to be the best year. but we decree and declare in Jesus' name that this is the best year that we have ever had. So I'm excited. I
I
really
love that you said that, because I think that as a body of believers, we forget the authority that we have
yeah,
in our tongue, in our mouth to speak those things that be not as though they were.
yeah.
So this is why we can speak that it's going to be even better this year, because that's our declaration.
Absolutely, absolutely. And coupled with the fact that when you take the time to get before God about what it is that you're assigned to do, then you don't miss, And so then we don't come in wondering, oh, did I do what I needed to do? Did you obey God? Yes, then you did what you needed to do. And so what we're endeavoring to do is just keep ourselves in alignment with the mandate that's been given to us by God. And this year, we took a little bit of a twist because we're celebrating 16 years for women in worship. Can you
Yes.
believe it, Brandy? 16 years we've been doing women in worship. I know.
I
And
was literally thinking, because I was thinking the 1660, and I want you to elaborate, and just share from your heart. But I was thinking another thing to share too is, how do you keep going?
oh,
The 16 years, like you said, it is a God vision,
it
but
is.
woo,
When you think about how women in worship started, I started because I was praying for friends. And there were so many of the women that were in my life that were coming to me saying that they were feeling overwhelmed and they were trying to find balance and all of this. And I just kept hearing that conversation. And in a time of prayer, I said to the Lord, how do I help my friends? How do we get past this place where we're juggling all that we're juggling and still keep balance in our lives? And I don't know that you can ever find balance. You can find harmony, but I don't know that you can ever find balance. But the Lord said to me in that time of prayer, if you get them to the throne, I'll take them from there. And I was like, bet. That's all I have to do is get them to the throne so that you can take them from there. And so I sat down and I started thinking, what will get women to the throne? Worship. What
yeah,
will get women to the throne? Prayer and time in the Word of God. And so we brought those three things together: worship, prayer, and time in the Word of God. And women in worship was birthed. Remember the first year, we thought it was going to be 100 women in worship. There was 240 something women that showed up,
yeah.
Then the second year there was 400 women, and then the next year there was 800 women, and it just continued to increase.
Mhm.
And so it's just been life changing for so many. And so the purpose of women in worship is to get women to the throne so God can take their lives from there. And so I am
Ooh.
excited.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness. And I can't wait to bring up some of the amazing women that are going to be there on the stage, when we hit the altar. But there was a couple things that you said. I'll hit this and then we'll begin to bring them up. Something that you said, just it made this stand up in my spirit: despise not humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Because there are times, especially, when you think about women in worship, and then there's also women in ministry, and that it's a vision that God has given to you. And maybe, you planned for 100 but only 20 showed up. Okay. Right. But what happens next? Obedience happens. Okay.
Mhm.
Did God say do it another year? Do it another year. That 20 could turn to 30 next year. That 30 could then turn to 300. So he's looking for your obedience. He's looking
Absolutely.
for your consistency.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's so powerful. And I would love to
I
hear
know.
what Dr. Bailey or Dr. Jill have to say about it.
Yes.
That is so powerful because every year, I'm asking the Lord, is this it? Is
Yes.
this it? Is this the year? Is this when I'm done? Am I done with this? And I'm listening because I don't want to do something just because I can do it. I'm here to make an impact, a significant impact. That's what I'm here for. And if that part of my life is over, Lord, just tell me where you want me to be.
Yeah.
So obedience is critical in everything that God calls us to do. And this was absolutely an act of obedience. And I think I shared, I'll be 60 this year.
Where though?
At
But
60.
that's okay.
Two milestones, one vision, two milestones. So Women in Worship is turning 16 and I'm turning 60. And this year, you know how Oprah does all her favorite things? I brought
Yes.
all my favorite people together this year. I brought women that I love and that have impacted my life together this year. And then the focus this year, we used to do vending tables and things
Right.
like that. We're not doing that this year. This year, our focus is missions. and how we can impact lives on a global scale.
Wonderful.
That's what it's about for me. And so Dr. Jewel is doing some things, and Dr. Patricia Bailey is doing something. Both of them have a global vision. And so I'm excited to have them with me this year.
Oh my goodness. And we're excited to have them as well on the Saved in the City platform. And so I think it's time, y'all, let's bring up some of these other amazing women. Pastor Melva, like, yes. Pastor, let me do it. Let me do it right. Let me do it proper. Okay. I got a whole bio.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm so excited again. Actually, I got a chance to experience Dr. Jewel at the last Women in Worship. And, some may know her as a reality star. Some may know her as so many other things. And we'll get a little bit into her bio, but my goodness, she has a gift of impartation.
Yeah.
And I was literally on the floor when she literally from her belly declared wealth over the women. And I felt the wave. And I said, if this is the level where we are in Women in Worship, I don't know what next year is going to bring. So I'm so excited that she's back again. But Jewel Tankard, she's an economist turned financial powerhouse, and she's absolutely taking the world by storm. As a serial network marketer, she has grossed over $5 million and empowered over 250,000 people in her robust organizations. She has created a global reputation for creating 6 to 7 figure earners with her success strategies. And that's only a little bit about who she is. Obviously, the wife of Ben Tankard. She's a mother, a sister, and so much more. Welcome, Jewel.
Oh my gosh. I love this lady. I love her. You're muted, Jewel. You're muted.
You were talking good too.
I was gone, girl. Hey, Brandy. Hey, Pastor Melva. I'm so excited to come and play with you. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So you kind of heard some of the things that we were talking about. I'm so excited about this year's Women in Worship. And again, one vision, 2 milestones. So as a visionary and accepting the invitation to come back this year, what is your expectation for this year's event, and or what do you plan on bringing?
Hold on.
The heat.
So big. Listen, I will come and play with Pastor Melva anytime. Yes. She come for all the heat. She come for all the fire and the smoke. Okay. But no, I'm excited. I think we're in very interesting times, tons of disruption. Everything that can be shaken is being shaken, but some things are being shaken loose that need to be shaken loose. And there's some things that are being shook in that need to be shook in. And so I think it couldn't be a better time to come. Economically, we see tons of disruption. Socially, I mean, what happened in Texas, I mean, I can't even tell you how much I cried about that. But I just know that I believe God is really, really just calling us back to his presence. And I think there are going to be a lot of backsliders that come back. You know, the pandemic, Melva and I talked about this. It really jacked a lot of people up from like their rhythm in church. And I said that this morning on the gram. I'm like, you can take your children to the park, you take them to a museum, you take them to sports, but like what happened to getting up on Sundays and taking your children to church? So I think that this conference that Pastor Melva is putting together is going to be really a great awakening. I think everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, I do need them.
Yeah.
Because you've been operating independently, so you wonder why you're going through, you wonder why you're confused, you wonder why you're depressed, because you pretty much almost kind of did like the schools did. They said, okay, we don't want the Bible here. And then when the devil come and act the fool, now you want to do a prayer visual. Like, bruh, we got to live a life of this. So I think it's going to be awakening for all of us. And I'm expecting to hear a word from God. So I'm excited.
Yeah, this is exciting.
I'm glad that you tapped a little bit on what happened in Texas with the children, and then like literally a week before Buffalo. I mean, can we go to the grocery store? Can we? Like, it's terrifying in some ways, especially in my opinion, if you're not anchored in the Lord. So I'm with you. I do believe it's going to be a great revival. And I think it's also a great opportunity for, while we're in worship, to understand the power of intercession. for one, because a lot of times when we're in work, it's all about us. We're praying for, okay, I need this, give me that, I need this car, I need this house, I need, I need this weave. Okay. But when it comes down to, am I praying for my brother or sister that maybe they took the Bibles out of the school, but I still have the Bible, I still got the Bible, but some people don't. Right. So I think that this is a great opportunity for us to reach out and stretch out the more.
Yeah, I'm excited about having Dr. Jewel with us. The way Dr. Jewel ministers is something that really, in my opinion, it reaches beyond generations and cultures. I got the opportunity to watch her minister to a crowd of about 6,000 people. And then I got to see her when she was where were you all in recently, Dr. Jewel?
Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona, Spain. And I was just like, this is amazing how God is using her and how she will come out on that platform worshiping God, irrespective of who's in the room, irrespective of the culture. She always brings the God and the Christ culture, the kingdom culture, wherever she is. And that's why it was so critical to me to have Jewel come back and be with us again this year. She brings wealth strategies with her. It just follows her. And when you're in her presence, there's something about the presence of someone who not only moves and shakes in the natural, but they move and shake in the spiritual. Yeah. And when you step with that person, it's a game changer for your life. And so to all of the women that may be watching us, Brandy, I want them to know you need to make it your business.
Okay.
Women in Worship 2022, because as we say, your life will never be the same again. So I'm excited about it. And so I'm excited to have Dr. Jewel. She's going to be speaking on Saturday. You want to be there.
So, but Saturday, and that's she's the speaking during the brunch.
She's
correct?
Doing my birthday brunch. Yep, she's got
to celebrate.
She's got my birthday brunch, so she's gonna be my Saturday afternoon, and we are expecting a packed house. And so we want you all to be there. If you haven't gotten your tickets, you can get them now at melvahenderson.org.
I absolutely love it. And so maybe because while we're waiting on Dr. Bailey to come back in, it looks like we might have lost her. We can just kind of go for those people who are just joining us. Welcome. And yes, we are here and we're talking about this year's event, Women in Worship 2022, One Vision, 2 Milestones. And we're sitting here with the amazing Pastor Melva and Dr. Jewel Tankard, 2 amazing women. And it's happening June 3rd and 4th, 2022. And this year is going to be held, I think it was held this last year as well, right? Mason Temple. Yep, same place, Mason Temple, 6090 North 35th Street. Now, is the brunch happening at the same place as well?
Yep, the brunch is happening at our Oak Creek location, 912 South 27th Street. The brunch is going to be there, as is the 8 a.m. prayer on Saturday morning.
I love it. I love it. And so also we have Dr. Patricia Bailey. I'm just believing God that she's going to pop in. But while we're waiting on her to come in, tell us, Pastor Melva, how did you connect with Dr. Bailey? I know that she does mission work. So I know y'all are kindred souls as it pertains to global vision. But talk about how you all connected.
I've been an avid follower of Dr. Frederick Casey Price for many, many years. And several years ago, Dr. Price introduced Patricia Bailey, and she took the platform and she just began to share what she was doing in the world. And it just left a mark on my life. And so I started following her from that time. And because God had always put it in my heart to engage in global missions in some way, to train people for global missions. And that's what we have done. We trained a lot of people to prepare themselves for the work that God has for them globally. And so then one time I was in Clubhouse last year, and we happened to be invited to the same stage, and there we were together. And I was like, Lord, take me out of here. I like to fell over like a Black Baptist woman. I'm like, Lord Jesus, carry me out. I'm on the same stage with Dr. Patricia Bailey. She's a legend who has left a profound legacy for the African-American community. And so connecting with her was just a blessing. And so she's coming, and what she's going to do, I know that she's going to pray for us, and she's going to commission us and give all of the people of color who didn't feel like they could or like they needed permission to do what God has called them to do globally, she's going to open up that box and tell everybody, if God called you to the nations, you have a right, and you've already got the green light that you need to get into the nations. And so I'm excited about what she's going to be bringing to the table on Saturday night.
I'm ecstatic. Let me tell y'all a little bit more about Dr. Patricia Bailey. She is a lecturer, author, and founder of Master's Touch Ministries Global. Her ministry has produced a tremendous impact for more than 40 years in over 145 countries around the world, bringing deliverance, healing, and salvation to countless thousands. Her missions ministry was one of the first to provide disaster relief to the South Pacific tsunami in 2004 and the earthquake in Haiti in 2010. Locally, she has assisted with the Flint, Michigan water project, Hurricane Sandy, and Katrina victims. I absolutely love that because our work is the world, so yes, we can reach abroad, but what are we doing at home? And so, my goodness, I am honored to bring up the amazing, the beautiful Dr. Pat Bailey. Come on in, Dr. Pat. Can you hear us?
Is she having problems?
I think so. She's frozen below and it's a black screen for us. Dr. Bailey, you may have to get back out and then come back in because I can see your picture frozen below and then it's a black screen there. So I'm going to remove you from the screen for now, but my goodness, the devil be busy.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Can we talk for a second, Brandy? I would love to hear Dr. Jewel just share what she believes, why it's important for women to come together in prayer. I had the privilege of being with her. And when I tell you, and I'm not just saying this because we're on the line. I'm not just saying it because we're on the line. I had not prayed the way I prayed this year with Dr. Jewel and her prayer conference. I had not prayed like that with a body of believers in years.
Wow.
When I tell you the times of prayer that we had together required me to reach deep into the depths of my spirit and pull up out of me the things that God had in me. And not only that, things that may have been lodged within me that shouldn't have been there. There was so much work I was doing in my own heart and in my own life that weekend. And I walked away and I don't care where she do that prayer conference. I'm coming wherever she is in the world. I will be present. But I want her to talk about why it's important for women to get to the throne, because God said if we get them to the throne, he will take them from there. So I would love to hear her take on that.
Yeah, I love you. And, I pray with you anywhere. I just think, I think we're all like at this place where whether we realize it or not, we probably need to all go and ask God, like, who am I? Who am I? And what are you calling me to do right now? Because just because he called me to do something last month or last year doesn't mean he's calling me to do it now. I'm in tremendous transition and I am loving every minute of it. Because it is requiring a greater dependence on him. Yay! We got Evangelist Pat in the building. Yay!
You know, we don't accept defeat, none of us, right?
Yeah.
But I'll just end with this: that I love it because I think God is calling all of us to, lean in on him because he wants to be a part of every area of our lives. And he wants us to stop and ask him, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be going? What does this look like? And bringing us into another level of trust, because I really feel like for those people that are believers, when our children go to school, they cover for real under the blood. And not only are they covered, but the entire class is covered. The entire school is covered because we really have tapped into that kind of authority. So we don't have to walk in fear. I'm not in fear if I have to go here or go there. I'm not in fear when my children go here or there because I know I'm already covered under the blood because of that kind of intimate relationship. So I think that there's just a stirring probably in all of our hearts to maybe just stop with the work. And I'm talking to me because, I'm really a workaholic and I'm working on that. But the Lord will be like, hey, just come down. Just come down, exhale, and it's already handled. You don't have to do anything because we can all get into works. And not that we should be lazy, right? But I think that it's like there's a time where it's like simmer down, settle, and get real clear instruction and direction because the plays are probably going to look different from the way the plays look from the last year.
Mm-hmm. I love it. My goodness. Well, Dr. Bailey, we are so glad that you are here with us. Jane Jordan just said, hey, Jewel, but then she also said, Doc is in the building. And so before you were off and then came back on, we read your bio and we were just talking about how amazing that you are globally and even your reach on a local level and how important that is. And so we're just excited to have you as a part of Women in Worship this year. On the Saved in the City platform, this is an honor for me. But I guess the same question that I asked Jewel initially is, what is a lot of times we ask the people, what are you expecting? But it's always interesting to know the folks who are going to be on the platform. What are you expecting this year at Women in Worship?
Because of the window that we're in right now, and I believe the prophetic window and what God is speaking to his body, not just here in the US, but around the world at large. I mean, anybody with any kind of sensitivity can sense that we're in a shifting time. There's a lot happening. But here's the beautiful thing, and I love what Jewel was just saying. Jewel and I just got a special love with each other, just like I said with you and Melva. We just, and you know what I love about us? Let me just say this. We are no matter what women. No drama, no strife, no propped up images. Just want to make, I heard Jewel say it, impact, influence, because we're at the stage and age of our life that we are so intentional and so deliberate. And if you have any kind of sensitivity, you can tell that there's a shaking and a shifting, but all of it is not bad. I heard it. Stay connected long enough for me to hear that from Jewel, because let's say, for an example, if you're in Jewel's arena and the economy is like it is, hey, that's investment time. If you are in other things of what I do and things are shifting, I'm able to grab properties in other countries that I can turn into clinics, medical clinics.
Wow.
I'm able to grab properties that I can turn into vision houses. I'm able to grab land that I can build 44 houses on and pay cash for them for homeless. So it's all in how you interpret it. And with this shift, I love God that my Shih Tzu decides to come in here while we live and just play his little squeaky toy. Like, yeah, I told you I should have named him, never should have named him Versace. Okay. But anyway, everything is up for sale right now. Everything can happen. It's all in your view and how you look at it. I was crying out to the Lord this morning and being very transparent with my staff about, I want God to bring me to a place. This is what I'm expecting to take the ladies into, that the thing that was once interpreted as pain now has become the place that I go back to in my intimate time. That's now my praise breakout. Because I say, ooh, what you brought me through. Ooh, at that time I was crying. I'm like, I ain't gonna never make it through this. But now it's a place of reverence that I go, look what you did.
Yes.
And so what we feel like is our today right now is already God's yesterday. It's today right now for us. And it's like a lot, but he stepped into our tomorrow already and validated it good. So sometimes we have to pull the lens back and say, I'm going through this right now and it seemed like crazy. And it's today for me, but it's yesterday for him. And he already is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So we got to put on a different set of lens and say, it's not a bad economic time. It's an investment time. It is not just a shaking time where it looked like, can anything else go crazy? It's a time of causing God's people to not abdicate their roles anymore. And guess what? What did you expect? You took prayer out of the school. What did you expect? You kept leaving me out and leaving me out and leaving me out. And what did you expect? So now this is a wake-up call to say, get back in there.
Please.
Get back in there. Get back in your position. Get back in your place of dominionship. And you were never supposed to abdicate your role. There was never supposed to be a vacant place there. So it's a wake-up call. It's painful because you weep for the parents. But at the same time, the enemy doesn't get total credit in this. It's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call to us all. The economy makes us wake up and say, wait a minute, we need to be a better steward about how we've handled these resources. The shift in the economy also is a wake-up call and says, why don't we own our own banks? Why don't we have our own internal economy? Why are we living on this economy anyway? Here's another economy for us. So I believe in it. It's going to bring the women to a place that we can really allow God to just do something on the inside of us, to reposition us, to make us ready. I keep hearing all kinds of prophetic words of urgency and acceleration, and everything is saying rapid, and whenever you study the scriptures and God starts talking like that, he starts talking like that when he's getting ready to do a major wealth shift, when he's going to do a major leadership shift. If you look at 2020, this will put meat around what I'm saying. So this is what I'm expecting, Melva. In 2020, everybody was all crazy over the elections, 2019, 2020, over the elections and the pandemic, elections and the pandemic, right? And while that was going on, Americans, we Westerners, we some interesting people. We act like we're the only people in the world. You know the song Michael Jackson did, "We are the world, we are the children." We act like Americans. We are the world, we are the children. We are not the world. Right. We are just America.
Wow.
Currency is not the only currency. Your nation is not the only nation. Your system of government is not the only system of government. Your whatever is not the only. It's a whole Psalm 24. Earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof. So while we were going through that, out of the nearly 200 countries, 98% of them were going through major elections also, shifting prime ministers, presidents, And guess we act like we were the only one having an election. So we missed the opportunity to be praying for all those other nations that were going through elections at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, people got put in position that have aligned themselves with a new world order, have aligned themselves with the agendas that they're trying to push on our children, the agendas that they're trying to push, and this is not a political thing. It's not a political sided thing. This is a biblical, predestined, prophesied reality. Mm-hmm. And we miss that by simply looking at the present things that were happening in our own nation, in my own life, in my own family, in my own world. Well, I'm believing, Melva, that the global mantle that rests upon Jewel, the global mantle that rests upon you, and I'm sure you, Brand, if you anywhere attached to this woman of God, that we're going to bring women to a place of recognizing things that we didn't realize that we've abdicated, things that we didn't realize that we should be creating awareness or should have already been aware. Like, for an example, we're doing clinics along with the water wells. 80% of women in the entire developing world have no access to health care. How can we act like that doesn't bother us? How can we pass that baton on to our children? And Jewel is going to love this. And then what is it to bring them clean water? And what is it to bring them health care? And they don't have created income. They're not financially sustainable. So we want to go we went even further. I don't even want them to just have wells, and I don't want them to just have clean water, and I don't want them to just have income, a stream of income for sustainability. I want sustainable communities.
Right.
We live in the kind of countries that they take your lights, they take your water all the time. We don't know what that's like. You don't have sewage. So guess what? For us women, we can cause you to have your own water in a whole village for $3,000. We can cause you to have your own power for $1,500 for a whole village. We can cause y'all to have toilets and not open defecation for $1,800 for a whole village. And that's what we pay for a Gucci bag. Yes, we can build sustainable communities. You can have your own gardens, which is food sustainability. You can have your own stream of income by developing what do you have in your hand. There's something you can do. And the beautiful thing with you, Jewel, is like you can trade anywhere in the world. Trade puts us on all equal playing field. Long as we got our own solar, we can get them the internet. Long as we got them the internet, they're on equal playing field. Am I right, Jewel?
Yeah. Ooh.
If the government takes your lights, and it doesn't matter if the government takes yours. So guess what? You're not waiting on politicians to determine whether I can have clean water, whether I can have water, whether my child can go to school. Don't wait on them for your child to go to school. Build your school. So the money you make it, and that's what we do. Build the school. Built the clinic, provided the water, provided the sewage, provided sustainable income, solar. You're growing your own organic food, so you got your own. And now that's not a reality just for them in this country. I mean, hello, you better have some food security in America. Mm-hmm. You know, my baby formulas. I love God's sense of humor. Because God has a way of showing you are not smarter than him. He'll let you think you all that in the bag of chips, the dips, the farm, the potatoes, and everything. You're smarter than me. You're smarter than me, so you got formula. But I made something that's going to build the immune system of the baby If you know that your breasts are not just for your husband, can you sacrifice them for a few months to build in your child an immune system that will fight up against the plagues that are to come? We want Playtex nurses because we want our breasts to sit up. Well, there's other ways to get them breasts to sit up, honey. Okay? I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this.
No,
crazy.
After this about.
So then I love him for this because here he goes. You're a beautiful, unique woman. When you wake up in the morning, I made your body. A man can't do this to produce a type of substance in your milk with a watery substance that quenches the thirst of the baby. By noon, you CVS, you Walgreens, while Jewel is trading and while Jewel is handling her millionaire club and while she handling all this and taking care of her husband because she keep her husband hooked up and she taking care of this and she looking beautiful and she getting her hair done. She creating a milk by the middle of the day that has a fatty or creamer substance that satisfies the hunger of the baby. Then when it gets to be about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, her body recalculates a whole nother formula made with 37 agents that they can't reproduce that puts the baby to sleep, builds up the immune system and the digestive system so the baby can break down what it ate, go to sleep, and then build up his immune system so against crib death. You doing all of that while you trading. You doing all of that while you're doing real estate. You doing all that while you're going to school online to better. Are you hearing me? Because so he says, I gave all of that to you and you threw it in the trash can and said Playtex is better and Enfamil is better and Similac is better. So now that we're in a situation where they're saying, we don't have enough formula. Well, what about all those mothers that I already gave you what your baby needs? Have you forgot that these have more than one purpose?
Oh my gosh.
I built you in a way to be self-sustained. And your child can be self-sustained. Regardless of what plague or whatever's coming around, your immune system is built from the inside out. So I think he has this way of letting us know you want to be out of schools. You don't want to use your body for what it was for your children to give them their best. And even if we take it all the way far back, the whole educational part from Deuteronomy was supposed to be coupled with the word of God. We got rid of that. So we keep on Xing God out with stuff and thinking we're smarter than him. And then when things start falling apart, then we go, oh God. And so I believe it's everything Julia said. It's an awakening. It's a coming back to him. It's a shaking so that things that need to be shaken can be shaken. I mean, it's just, and I plead that the women are going to have such an encounter with God and such eye-opening and just rethinking things through and examining, like, what are we really doing? What are we doing? And we certainly cannot pass this on to our daughters. Lastly, let me say this. The wealthiest African countries in the entire world that are the most mineral resource countries, I'm talking about diamonds, gold, oil, cobalt, all of the greatest minerals. Those are the countries that the women are 80 to 90% illiterate in the rural areas. So even if God wanted to do a wealth transfer, they can't even read. What are we doing? They can't even negotiate a contract. What are we doing? We owe it to them to empower them because they're sitting on the wealth that God created for them. But the reason Chinese and the reason why the European, everybody else is getting the contracts and getting the wealth and going in is because they're sitting on the wealth that they can't even market. They can't even do business. And so we provide literacy in 99 days. It's a $39 book. Guys, we can do this. We can make an impact. I heard Jewel use the word influence. I heard you use impact. And the other thing is we got to learn to work together.
Yeah.
We got to learn that we need each other. Melva, you have something I don't have. I need you. I told you, I text you, I need you in my life right now. Jewel, we need to reconnect.
Yeah.
You know, I need you in my life right now. We need each other.
We do.
Living in a kind of time that we've never seen before. And we've got to model Jewel and Melva and Brittany. We got to model to our daughters. And we even got to model to this generation. Women can work together and not be catty, not try to tear each other down, not try to compete, not try to that foolish junior high stuff. Hope of this, you know, and just be about our Father's business. We owe it to them to model that. So let's do it. And for those of you that need to see that in your life and want that kind of influence in your life, that kind of impartation, make your way to this conference. You don't want to miss it. And you know what? Let's model it by bringing a friend. Okay.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. Wow. Well, can I just say quickly just what came up in my spirit? And then, of course, ladies, you guys jump in. I heard blaring perspective shift. a shifting of your perspective. There's many times, that maybe that women that don't have the platforms that a Dr. Pat or Dr. Jewel or even Pastor Melva has, and you feel like, well, what can I do? Right? God has equipped you. You were talking about the breast, but in general, he's equipped you with everything that you need, what he's called you to, he's qualified you for. You got it. It's already in your hands. And so again, I decided to call this conversation today a visionaries conversation, because a visionary sees things way differently. And so as we're moving into June 3rd and June 4th, again, this is why you guys need to be here. Oh my goodness. Women in Worship, one vision, two milestones, June 3rd through the 4th, 2022, 1660. Y'all, it's happening. Anything else, Pastor Melva, that comes up that you want to share, say?
I'm just excited to have these ladies with me. And what I love, is that when you get hungry enough to change your life, you will move yourself into places and into positions. And when you move yourself into those places and positions, there will be people there that are feeding on a higher level than where you currently were. And then when you get yourself around these high feeders or these heavy feeders, then God is teaching you to have an appetite and a palate for something more, something greater. And that's what this is. Coming into relationship with Dr. Jewel, I told her at the end of her conference, I walked up to her, I said, "You have changed my life."
Oh,
Dr. Jewel changed my life. And Dr. Bailey is changing my life. That's what I've been praying for. That's what I've been longing for, to connect with women. That everything that Dr. Bailey said, we are not in competition with one another. If they don't call me, I ain't tripping about that. But I know when I need them,
they're there. Melva, you know what I like about what you just said? Like, take Dr. Jewel and myself. We haven't talked to each other in a while, but we can get on the phone. Like when we're off of this and we on the phone, and we're going to pick right back up, like where we left off, like, not, you know what I mean?
And I'm going to be right in the midst.
right with you. You ain't
going to help me. I promise you, you're not.
Relationships, these high maintenance relationships, needy and, depending. No. And I love that. And the fusion is going to happen just between us together. We don't just end up having to be on the planet at the same time doing the same conference. With God, nothing just happens. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with the fusion of the anointing.
It's going to be amazing because we're creating an anointing that's never existed before. Okay. And if you are listening to us and you have not registered for Women in Worship, this is not jargon. This is real. If you have not registered, I'm telling you, you are going to miss out, because there is a download with your name on it.
Melva, you need to tell them this. If you haven't registered, what's wrong with you? No, Mary.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
Listen, let us schedule for real. Like, seriously.
I absolutely love it. So you can register, you guys, right here at www.melvahenderson.org. And again, it is happening this year, literally next month, June 3rd and 4th.
Next weekend.
Right. Oh God, this year, my goodness. Next weekend, right? And it's going to be happening at Mason Temple, 6090 North 35th Street in Milwaukee. I'm so excited to be a part of it. I'll actually be the MC on that evening, so I'm ecstatic to be there. And then Dr. Jewel is going to be the brunch speaker on that. I think that's Saturday, right?
That's Saturday.
And that's happening again at World Outreach in Oak Creek. What's the address out there?
6912 South 27th Street.
Okay. And where are we going to find Dr. Pat Bailey? I just feel like all up and through. I feel like.
Right. Well, how it's going to kick off Friday night, I'm going to be speaking. Saturday, we're going to have amazing worship, amazing time in prayer. Then Saturday morning, all of the Clubhouse moderators that are usually with us, the women that are with us in the morning at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, they're going to be with us, and we're going to do Clubhouse Live Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And so then that's going to go until 10. And then Dr. Jewel is going to be doing the barbecue birthday brunch. And she's going to be talking to us about wealth strategy. We limited the brunch to only 400 people. So there you got to get in because
it's sold out. You got a week.
Oh my gosh. And so that's going to be amazing. And so when Dr. Jewel is done, then we're going to give y'all a little bit of a break. And then that evening, William Murphy is coming and he's going to be doing music for us. And then that evening, Dr. Bailey is going to talk to us. And I'm praying, are you going to be able to stay, Dr. Jewel? You're going to be there with us?
You know, I'm going to double check. I pray I can be there Sunday morning.
Yeah. Saturday night.
Okay.
Yeah. So Saturday night, if you can be there, because we really want Dr. Bailey to do a laying on of hands service to pray for us. And I want Jewel there. And so myself, Dr. Jewel, and Dr. Bailey, we're going to be laying hands on the women and releasing in you what God has put in you. And for some of you, like we say, it's going to be like a time release capsule. And at the appointed time, that thing is going to unleash in your life and change the world around you. That is what we're believing for. So you want to get to Women in Worship, June the 3rd and 4th, next weekend here in Milwaukee.
I absolutely love it. So as we're nearing the end of our time, ladies, Dr. Jewel, any parting words, kind of final words, and then how people can connect to you, of course.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I would just say clear your schedule, because I know everybody's like super busy, but I think that's probably one of the problems. We've been too busy. And, God sets up specific times where he says, hey, I need to meet with you.
Yeah.
I need to meet with you because you're working way too hard. I want to do way more for you. What I have for you, toil and labor is not going to do it. And that's where I'm at. Like, I'm in a place where I'm making more money now than I've ever made, and I'm doing less work. And I'm like, wow, Lord. He's like, yeah, this is what I'm trying to get you, girl. So this is what he wants for all of us, not just financially, but emotionally, having a sound mind. Like, some people are dealing with depression and they're confused and they're overwhelmed because it's too much self-independence. You're too independent. Like, you just got to say, you know what, God, you know what? Like, I'm for real, get ready, cast these cares over to you and get some instruction and direction. So I know there's going to be clear prophetic instruction with these powerhouse women, these prophets in the house. So go ahead and get your ticket right now. And I cannot wait to see that.
Yes. And you can connect with Jewel, obviously at Women in Worship.
Yeah, everything is Jewel Tankard, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything is Jewel Tankard. So follow me there, and I can't wait to see y'all this weekend. And happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Pastor Melva.
Not yet. The 6th. The 6th.
Oh,
the first.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Bailey, give us some parting words and also share how people can connect with you.
I believe that, as we just said a few moments ago, the diffusion between us together, it's like an apothecary. Something is going to be put together with us together that is not the same if we were separate. So I know what's happened in my life when I connected to Jewel Tankard. I know how things took off on another level in my life, and you and I are going to talk about that afterwards. So when we get this done, and I can date back. I can go back in my life and say it was when we connected, when we were doing this together. It was at that season, at that time, as she was pouring into me in the mornings and teaching. I can directly pinpoint it. Wow. So even though we have gone and done other things, and we haven't physically been in proximity with each other, what Jewel Tankard imparted in me, I was able to not only take that and see it manifest itself to the tune of $1.2 million without me doing anything but breathing, but I was able to take that and impart that to women now that we're putting women in business all over the world. In poor country, we no longer try to give them water. We're putting them in business. We're buying business, putting them in total business. And this is, most of them have been the first generation ever business owner. So her stretching, that mantle that she has on her concerning wealth, it opened up an avenue. See, I was dealing more with the humanitarian part and just caring for them. But Jewel was like, with Jewel, she opens up, she unlocks a prophetic destiny in your life in that arena. So when that was added to what God had given me, and now what Melva has is added to, I hope you ladies are paying attention. It's something that's fused together as a result of us being together, that when you leave, you're going to have something deposited in you, that when we're no longer in each other's presence, in proximity, that thing that God deposits is literally called spadazo in the Greek. It's stamina, it's fortitude, it's follow through to completion, it's inspect what you expect, it's the grit, the true grit of not giving up, and it's done by impartation. So the impartation is coming from Dr. Jewel. The impartation is coming from the woman of God, Pastor Melva, Apostle Melva, that when you leave, we may leave each other's presence and proximity, but the fusion that's coming together and working with us, it's going to be just working in your life when you leave. And it's going to produce something that can never be uprooted. Your fruit will remain. I can't wait to see you there. If you ain't registered, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
PatriciaBailey.org is how they can get me. Real simple. PatriciaBailey.org. I'm just like Jewel. PatriciaBailey.org.
Absolutely love it. It keeps auto-correcting I don't know why it keeps auto-correcting your name, but I'll make sure that it's posted on our groups as well. Oh my goodness, Pastor Melva.
Be there. That's all I can say. I'm over here fighting back the tears, just thinking about how blessed I am to have women like these that have come into my life at this season of my life. You know, so many stories that we can share, you know, of the things that we've gone through, but then God inserts people in your life, and those people just they pick you up and they take you to higher ground. And that's what has happened in my life in this season. And so I'm fighting back the tears. And, you know, to Dr. Jewel.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. I love her. And Dr. Bailey, you speak to my destiny. And I just love you. I love you both. And I'm just so glad to be able to move the lives of women and to lay out a blanket, a sweet blanket for women of all ethnicities, every socioeconomic background, to be able to lay something out in front of them and say, come and dine with us. Just come. It doesn't matter what you've been through. Doesn't matter how you look. Just come. If you get here, we will change your life. We will give you what you need to change your life. And so I'm excited. And that's all I'll say.
I'm excited. Well, you guys, this has been an amazing experience. You see the flyer right there, Women in Worship 1660. This is 16 years, you guys, of women in worship. You know how it is when when there's certain things, when it's aged, it gets a little better with age, you know, whether we're talking about cheeses or wines or all of those things. And then 60, we're celebrating Pastor Melva's birthday, 60 years. I said 60 where, please?
I know, right? She's fine.
She's absolutely fine. And so again, you guys, one vision, 2 milestones, June 3rd, 4th, 2022 at Mason Temple, 6098 North 35th Street in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Make sure you guys register at melvahenderson.org. And my goodness, like she says, and we say it every year, and we mean it, your life will never be the same. I love you guys. Well, thank you all for joining us. Pastor Melva, I'm going to let you go. I think, how do I do it? There we go. Thank you, Pastor Melva. Thank you, Dr. Jewel. Thank you, Dr. Pat. I've been your host, Brandy Iberia. Keep it locked live to Saved and the City every Tuesday now with exclusive interviews with amazing folks providing kingdom solutions for real world issues. I love you so much, and we'll see you at Women in Worship.